Hey everybody, we just got done with the Ubisoft conference, and on this video I wanted to give my thoughts on what they did right, what I think they maybe did poorly, and what I'm looking forward to and not as looking forward to from their press release in the upcoming years. But starting right off, they went straight, almost immediately, into Mario Rabbids. I didn't know that they were going to go with this off the bat. I thought this actually might be saved for the Switch Nintendo conference on Tuesday? I didn't expect it to come out, and I really didn't know what type of game what it was, and when it first showed up, I was like, oh, Mario Rabbids. I cringed a little bit. I was a little like, this is not something I'm looking forward to. But then they started to, they had Miyamoto come out for the game out of nowhere. I also didn't see that coming. And which was cool, which I thought might be difficult because you have Yves Guillemot, who's French, and he can speak English, but his English is maybe slurred a little bit, and you have Miyamoto, who speaks no English, and he has to have a translator. So I was like, this could be disastrous. But it was really cool. It was glad Miyamoto exuded this energy on stage that just felt really good. I was like, just him being there and him just kind of being jazzed up and excited made me excited for this game that I just did not care about. I was like, I turned this around. This is interesting. I'm in now. And the gameplay they showed, for a minute, it looked like it was just going to be like some sort of third-person, linear platform. But what it ended up being was like a turn-based tactical game in the vein of like XCOM, like an XCOM Mario Rabbids game. And you could do things like, you move your characters around the field, and you can take cover. You can apparently do team combos. So Mario did a thing where he went to one position, and then Peach Rabbid followed him, jumped off of his feet, and she was able to fling across the map and land in a better position to flank one of the enemy people. You can use pipes for movements. Certain characters have like abilities like shields that they have more defensive. Like Peach has a defensive ability. And Mario has an offensive attack. You can destroy cover. There's pipes all around, Rabbids pipes that let you move across the battlefield of the tactical battlefield and let you get around people. So there's a lot of things to do. There's skill trees, and I've never been sold on a game for a console I don't own so much because it was just so interesting, and it was not what I thought it was going to be. It's coming out August 29th. It surprised me a lot. I actually am very happy that this is coming out for Switch. I hope that Switch people enjoy this. I think it's a different enough game on the Switch that this would really be wanted, and really people now will look forward to this game. Where like people in the past, maybe like me, were like, this sounds stupid, Mario Rabbids, but now it looks awesome. So I'm all for that. That was a good opener up. I thought it was out of left field. They did Assassin's Creed Origins. We saw a bunch of this at the Microsoft conference. The game director for the game came up on stage from Singapore, I believe, is the team. He just talked about, everything from, he's like, well, when we started out, I've been a fan since we started in the Third Crusade, moving on to Pirates. So he just kind of did a little bit of AC history. And then they kind of went into just like a little snippet of like not like CGI trailer, but just a highlight reel of a bunch of stuff. So they showed a ton of wildlife. There's everything from lions, gazelles, alligators. So it looks like the wildlife would be way more in-depth than it was in, say, Assassin's Creed 3, where your wildlife was literally like wolves. There may have been a bear at some point, but that was not very diverse. But again, it was just North America, so... But we see more dangerous creatures in the Nile and in Egypt. There was some sort of Anubis cult looking people. They had like heads on, so there's some sort of cult that you'll probably have to deal with. That is something to do with the Templars. There was boats. That boat things. Boat. We saw boat stuff in Assassin's Creed 3, where it was going to be, and you can be in like a little kayak, and you could move down rivers. That maybe seems to have actually been realized in this game, where you can actually get in a boat and move down rivers. Chariots. They also showed there was going to be chariot racing. We know there's going to be horseback riding. We know there's going to be a bunch of horses are going to be involved in the game a lot. But the chariots could do a lot of things. So basically, the moving vehicles coming over from. Similar Assassin's Creed Syndicate, where they had stagecoaches. We could see that transfer over here really well. It was actually when they announced, it was like, oh, the next game could be in Egypt. It was a lot of like, oh, well, they could use chariots. The chariots would be a really easy kind of carryover thing. Then they ended up just a little thing. It was like a sneak peek, like, oh, you can check this game after the conference. They went to like a room that was outside, and they were playing it on a TV that the sun was reflecting. You couldn't see it very well. I didn't enjoy that too much. But we did not, again, reconfirm the game is coming out October 27th. Again, we knew this from the Microsoft conference, but just reiterating it here. The next game they moved on to was The Crew 2. They went away from just cars from The Crew, and now they've gone into vehicles, cars, boats, airplanes, motorbikes, monster trucks. It was a bunch of in-game footage, some cutscene stuff. They seem to have just gone like, well, we could have gone cars, and our expansion pack did bikes a little bit, but we'll just do all motorized vehicles. And it was just, we'll see what the angle is, because the whole angle of the CG trailer was all about being a professional driver. But the whole first game was kind of maybe sold on like heists and stuff. I'm not really sure, like braid stuff. It was kind of, it was kind of sold in that way of, this is what you and your crew are going to be doing, jobs and stuff, and it's the underworld. But now it seems it's more like sports, like professional oriented. So we'll see where that goes. There's racing in the bayous. You can go in rivers with your boats. They didn't show how you can swap between the vehicles. They showed that you can use these vehicles, but like if I wanted to be in a car and go from a car to a plane, how did that work? How does that transition work? Do I just warp into a plane, or how does that work? Do I have to drive somewhere? Wish we could have seen that, but we didn't. I'm sure they'll show that in the future. It's coming out early 2018, so expect that soon. Then they went into South Park, The Fractured Butthole. The Fractured Butthole. Just, that's officially launching October 17th. If you like, what Stick of Truth was. Stick of Truth did phenomenally. I didn't play Stick of Truth. I just not on my list of games. Maybe I should have a bigger list. But the people who really like this game, you like Stick of Truth, you're gonna like Fractured Butthole. I might even go into it because I love the whole kind of Civil War angle with it. And then they went into VR. It was Elijah Wood was on. It was like Elijah Wood's development team at Ubisoft. I'm not sure, but Elijah Wood was there. And they were talking about VR. It was a VR game. It was called Transference. And it was some sort of VR horror game. And it was coming out spring 2018. That's literally all we got. It's a horror game. It uses VR, kinda. That's about it. And then a big thing that I did not see from the conference, because we've heard in the Ubisoft in the past, it was like, well, we don't want to really just make a pirate game. But isn't the system from Black Flag really cool? Yes, but we don't want to really make a pirate game out of it. So they showed off Skull&Bones, and Skull&Bones was basically the ship battle engine from Assassin's Creed 3 and Assassin's Creed 4 Black Flag, put into a pirate game. I'm all about this. I was all about this back in the day when they showed it in Assassin's Creed 3, and then they did 4. And I was like, this is a thing. You should just, I know you can't keep doing this forever. You can't have ships in every Assassin's Creed game, but this is a solid foundation, and obviously people liked it, and there's a player base there. And Ubisoft's like, well, we don't really want to do that yet, but they're doing it now. So Skull&Bones, pirate game. They said it was gonna be a shared systemic world. I'm like Destiny. I'm assuming it looked like every player was their own ship, so you were the captain of your own ship. I didn't know there was player customization. They had very preset characters, and they showed a PvP game mode. It was 5v5. It was called Loot Hunt, and this apparently took place in the Indian Ocean. They said it was disputed waters, so maybe the Indian Ocean could be like an open battleground, but it looks like it'll probably be some sort of playlist you go into. But it could be cool if maybe there are safe zones around the islands or in the sea that is just PvE based, but when you go from point A to point B across the Indian Ocean, you could potentially be attacked by anybody. Again, we don't know a bunch about what the PvEs are like. They just really showed off the PvP mode and sinking and boarding. They had everything from battering rams on your stuff, mortars, cannon fire. I believe you could customize your ship. They had a boarding scene, but the boarding scene was real quick. I hope that gets elaborated more. It was literally just like, preparing to board. Here's a couple flashes of people getting stabbed. Alright, well you did it, and then they just left. So I hope, what I really wanted was some sort of way you could, like in Black Flag, get off the helm. If you're boarding, neither of you are moving. You could swing onto the enemy ship and maybe, I don't know, a la For Honor style, you can somehow fight the other enemy captain and, your men can invade the... I just think that would be really cool. The boarding system just looked kind of Maybe you can do that. What I'm talking about, maybe you can do that in the open world, in the PvE, but maybe not the PvP because it's just kind of ship-based combat. But I was all about the ship game combat. They had pirate hunters coming at the end of the game, so after one team, I'm assuming, gets the most money or is getting close to getting the cap money, pirate hunters come in, they'll attack the person with the most amount of loot, and you'll have to try and get out of it. You'll have to actually leave the map to get out and win the game. I'm really, really into this game. They also showed that maybe there might be sea creatures. They showed the Kraken at the end, just a tease of him just in the water. So maybe we'll see more than just the Kraken. Maybe we'll see like mermaids and stuff. I don't know. But I like that they went to that. I was like, are they going to go with that route of, mythical beasts? And they did. I'm fine that they did that. And that's coming fall 2018. Again, around Sea of Thieves. I gotta wait all year. I gotta wait all next year for my pirate games. I get no pirate games this year. I gotta wait a year to get all my pirates out. So, yarg me harg. I can't get it till next year, and that sucks. But I'm patient. And then the lights dimmed, and I could tell that Just Dance was gonna come out. There was like something in the air. Even though I wasn't there, I could smell it. I could smell it in the air. You could smell Just Dance 18 coming out. And Sub-Zero and Scorpion and Noob Saibot came out on stage and they started dancing. Just Dance 2018, they had a karaoke Korean pop, I think, come out. And 2018, it's coming out, Just Dance 2018. It's coming out 2018. So no, actually, it's coming out October this year. Sorry, that was a re-infer that. But, yeah, Just Dance. If you like Just Dance, you do. I just don't dance. So I don't dance to Just Dance. So it just didn't matter too much to me. Then they went on to South Park on a mobile phone device. This is South Park Phone Destroyer. South Park Phone Destroyer. I was looking at my notes. South Park Phone Destroyer. It looks like it plays like some sort of Stick of Truth, but it's just like, knights versus cowboys versus Indians versus, princesses versus mailmen versus cops, like just anything you can think of. I don't think they had a release date, but it looked interesting. Then they went on to Starlink. This was a new IP from Ubisoft. Starlink Battle for Atlas, and this looked like it was it was like Amiibos meets No Man's Sky, and where you had the controller, and on your controller you had like a little docking station. And on this docking station you had a ship. And on this ship you could remove pieces of the ship from your docking station on the controller and pick up new Lego little bits, put them on the ship, and that would give your ship in-game, like, fire cannons or ice beam or thruster boost. This felt very much like, as soon as it came, it looked interesting, but as soon as it came up that it was going to be like, oh, you'll have to buy toys, I was not. I don't know if you have to actually buy toys because they talked about digital stuff, but from what it looked like, I was just like, no, this is to sell toys. This is to cash in on that Amiibo market, that Skylanders market, and someone will go out there and buy those. But for me, I was meh about it. But it is coming out on Switch. They showed it on the controller. That's fall 2018. They moved on to Steep. I guess they said that Steep has been out for a year. It doesn't feel like it had been out for a year. It feels like maybe a half, but Steep's been out for a year. And they showed that the next DLC coming to it, or the first DLC coming to it, will be Road to the Olympics. This is, Olympics roll footage behind me up here right on the screen. But it was Steep. I wasn't still big on Steep. I'm still not kind of big on Steep. Give me back to that SSX Tricky and we'll talk. Far Cry 5 was the next one that came up. They showed a gameplay demo. It seemed to look a lot like Far Cry 4 and 3. You use the binoculars. You're looking around like, oh, there he is. Spot him out. But you have followers now, so you can have your followers take up certain positions. You have Grace Armstrong, she's the sniper. You have Boomer, which is the dog. You have Nick Rye, which is a guy in like a hairplane. And they showed that there was going to have co-op confirmed, so there is going to be, I've heard, at least 2-player co-op, but that was confirmed here that co-op is going to be in there. And to close out the conference, they showed Beyond Good and Evil 2. They showed a huge CGI trailer, a good CGI trailer for Beyond Good and Evil 2. And I never played the original Beyond Good and Evil, but I heard great praise about it, and Ubisoft had apparently been working on it for a long time, and it was a hush. But they ended up doing it as a huge CGI trailer, very vulgar language. I was wondering when it was so vulgar, it was just F-bombs all over the place. I was like, was Beyond Good and Evil 1, was that like this? Was it this kind of like brash? And then it was just like, oh, we don't really know. But we thought it was a sequel, but it's a sequel prequel. So it happens before the first game, but it's got a 2 in it. Never a big fan when companies do this because it gets very confusing. But there you have it. So, but that was good. Beyond Good and Evil 2, a lot of people were not expecting it, and that kind of was a great place to close out the conference for Ubisoft. This was a solid showing. I actually got surprised by stuff. I was increasingly surprised by Skull and Bones. Beyond Good and Evil 2 looked really cool. I wasn't big on Starlink, but it's toys. I'm not really big into that. But Ubisoft had a really great conference. This, to be honest, for me, was either a tie with Microsoft or it was just a little hair above them. I just felt I had more stuff that was interesting. Maybe it's the Rabbids game. Like, the Rabbids game, just for some reason, like, I don't own a Switch, but it just seemed really cool. In a weird way that I was just so entranced by. I was like, Miyamoto's here, and I don't know what's going on, but I'm in. Like, I'll watch more of this. But it was, yeah, this conference really did get better. The conference, well, besides Bethesda, which was kind of, the conferences have kind of been getting better. So we've got one big conference left for me personally. It's Sony. Nintendo's after that on the next day, so I will be looking at Nintendo's, even though they're only going to be like 30 minutes apparently. So we'll see what they've got. But this was a great showing from Ubisoft. Thank you for showing into the video, guys, and I'll see you hopefully soon for my E3 review of the Sony conference. Let's hope they really bring their A game. I know a lot of people want them to be like everyone's like, save me. After Bethesda, everyone's like, save us, Sony. So hopefully Sony will come out with something crazy. I'm fingers crossed for a Bloodborne 2. It's never going to happen. I'm never going to get it, but I can cross my fingers till they break, and hopefully I'll get what I want. But that if they did that for me, I might, because I had to recently get rid of my PlayStation because we had gotten a new dog and we needed money, and I needed to, this dog needed shots, this dog needed to go to the vet and needed help, so I ended up saying, you know what, I'll sell my PlayStation, I'll give it up, and I'll get it back later in the future, but I gotta help this dog out now. So, if that is announced, and they're like, Bloodborne 2 is announced for 2017 or early 2018, I'm going to get a PlayStation. I'm going to get it right now. I'll stop watching the conference to run out to GameStop before they close. Like at 9, if they're like Bloodborne 2 at 9:01, I'm going to GameStop to get a PlayStation 4. But thank you. Anyway, I got off track. Thank you for watching my video, guys. Hopefully you enjoyed my kind of little rants and my little interpersonal connection there with Ubisoft. Loved what they showed, and I'll see you guys in the next video for PlayStation. Bye.